Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped, and welcome to this week's midweek 180. First up, apologies for not putting out a 180 last week. I was away at the beginning of the week, then I went to meetings on Wednesday and just didn't have time to film and upload a video, sadly. But I'm making it up to you this week, and I'm at home this week on the run up to Christmas, finally getting some time to do some admin and also finally getting time to enjoy my new office space. It's not quite where I want it to be, but there will be a video coming to the channel before the end of the year giving you a walk around the finished garage because it's 99% there. But if you've not seen one of these before, this is my midweek update where I bring you my news, views and information about upcoming reviews, all filmed in one take. Bit of admin from the last midweek 180 was leader of the pack was Michael Kember, well done mate, joined in the Magnificent Seven by Stephen Spink, Paul Mead, Cotswold photographers Anthony Finch, Gary Matthews and Malcolm Brew. So whoever puts the first comment this week, you'll be my leader of the pack next week, and the first 7 comments will be my Magnificent Seven. Lots to talk about this week, including 2 very cool new cars to market, but I wanted to start off by talking about Formula One. This is something I probably should have done last week, but clearly the season has finished now, and what an end to the season it was. And as a McLaren fan, absolutely delighted that the boys from Woking managed to secure the World Constructors Championship. Massive congratulations to the team. But it was such a great finale with them fighting Ferrari right to the end. And I'm just so happy. I mean, what a turnaround from the place they were in maybe 4 years ago, you know, struggling with pace and just not having the car, to where they are at the end of the season is just great. And it looks fantastic for next year. And it was really cool actually, because I drove past the MTC about 3 or 4 days after the last race. And there's a big sign outside the McLaren facility in Woking. And back in the day when they were sponsored by Vodafone, whenever they won, they used to turn the sign red as a sign of celebration. And then now they turn it papaya. And it was great to drive past it, bright papaya orange with World Constructors champions on it. I just thought that was really, really cool. So yes, very much looking forward to the next year's season of F1. 2 cars to talk about. Now, the first one, when it broke cover on the internet a few days ago, I actually thought it was someone playing with an AI tool. Now, at the moment on Amazon Prime Video, there is a documentary series called The Anatomy of a Comeback, which is all about Renault. And I haven't watched it yet, but I will be watching it over the next few days. But in the last episode of that series, they drop a bit of an Easter egg, and they drop a picture of the Renault 5 Turbo 3E, which is a car that looks like a concept, but the guys on the film said that it is a car that's going into production. And I don't really understand it. I'm a big fan of the new Renault 5. And the sport wing, if you like, of Renault is now Alpine, and I've driven the Alpine A290. This, though, flies in the face of all of that. But it sounds like it's going to be an epic, epic car. There's only a few details at the moment. Firstly, it looks like the old historic rear-engined Renault 5s of old, which is awesome. And they've even got the same livery. But it's going to be a rear-wheel drive Renault 5 with twin motors, so a motor on each rear wheel, and 500 bhp. Apparently it'll do 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. And if they do it, then just take my money. I mean, what a car that will be. But I still struggle to understand where that places Alpine. I would have thought if that was going to happen, it would have been Alpine that did that, not Renault. Because Renault don't have a sporty car anymore. They used to have their RS series. Now that's all over to Alpine. Anyway, love to know your thoughts on that one. Second car I want to talk about is a car we first saw actually about 4 years ago, and that is the Aston Martin Valhalla. Brilliant name for a car. Now the Valhalla was going to be the slightly cheaper, more attainable, more road-oriented version of the Valkyrie, which is their ultimate hypercar. And when it first came out, aesthetically it looked very similar to Valkyrie. Now we've seen a road-going production car. There's a number of videos on the internet. I've watched most of them. What a beautiful looking car. I think I love it because it looks like an Aston Martin should. And I kind of was a bit critical of the new Vanquish a few weeks ago on a Midweek 180, saying that, I thought that, it just looked a bit like DB12, and I was a bit disappointed. And where was the mid-engine supercar that they promised us? Well, here it is, just a few weeks later. Headline numbers for Valhalla are insane. So it has a total of 1,064 bhp. The bulk of that comes from a 4-litre twin-turbo flat plane crank V8. And that on its own produces 817 bhp, which is amazing because that's nearly as much as the V12 in the Vanquish, which is nuts. And then it's got 3 electric motors, one in the gearbox to deliver power to the rear wheels, and one on each front wheel, or two on the front axle. Those 3 motors combined are 248 bhp. And that means it's going to be 4-wheel drive, and that would be a brilliant advantage in things like launch control. For the 0 to 62 time is going to be about 2.5 seconds. It'd be great for coming out of corners, getting the power down. They can do torque vectoring with the front wheels and stuff. Very, very interesting. It's only 1,655 kilos dry. It has also an 8-speed dual-clutch gearbox, which is quite interesting for Aston Martin, because I may well be right in thinking that's their first dual-clutch gearbox in a production car. I'm sure the comment section will let me know if that's not the case. But I've always thought that Aston's, their weak point has been their gearbox, so that would be really cool. And then as a Michelin guy, I'm really excited because it's on a set of bespoke Michelin tyres. So there's 2 different tyre choices. The standard one is an AML marked Michelin Pilot Sport S5. But then there's also a lightweight wheel option, so you can buy a titanium wheel, and that comes with Cup 2s on it, again AML marked, specifically designed for Valhalla, and that produces something like 16 kilo weight saving around the wheel, so brilliant for unsprung mass reduction. And then the other thing about unsprung mass is the front suspension's really trick, so it's got push rod front suspension with inboard dampers. And you think, well, that's okay, that's going to be only seen or felt by the most experienced drivers. But the visuals, the clamshell bonnet, they've pulled it forward a bit. So you've actually got a visible, you can see the inboard dampers just in front of the windscreen. And it just looks absolutely mega. And then the final thing for me from a styling point of view, 2 things actually. One, you've got the rear wing. And I can't think of many Aston Martin production cars that have a big wing on the back. GT8 and GT12, I think, are probably the only ones. All their other cars kind of do their aero with clever use of air and so on, rather than having an actual big wing. But that wing only comes up in its sportiest mode, in track mode. And then it's got 4 exhausts, 2 sticking out the top, a la McLaren 600 LT, and then there are 2 in the rear diffuser. And I just think, all in all, that car looks mega. And I know it's not a car for us normal human beings, it's for a very rich few, but I still love cars like that, these halo cars, because they give us dreams. I remember when I was a kid, I had posters on my bedroom wall of Ferrari F40s and Porsche 959 and Lamborghini Countach, and I'd never own one of those. I'd never be able to afford to buy one, but that still was the thing that inspired me and got me into cars, and I still dare to dream that I might get to drive those cars at some point in the future. And I think that's where Valhalla sits, and I can't wait to see one actually in person. And then the last couple of things before we close this one down, I've mentioned, so I haven't done a garage update for a while now, about 6 to 8 weeks. And the last one was the fact that I built the garage doors too small. That has all been now fixed. And I'm pleased to say that last episode of Dream Garage Build got over 50,000 views. So a bit of ad revenue to help me with the 5 and a bit grand it's cost me to fix the doors. But they're all done, and we're pretty much there now. 99% done. My office is looking great. I've got a bit of artwork that's due to go just there. I'd hope that had arrived by now, but I'll update you when that does arrive. So I'm going to do a garage tour and put that out before Christmas. But over the Christmas period, I normally do 3 films a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6. I'm probably not going to do that over the Christmas period. There may be a couple of days where I don't drop a video, just because I need to take some time off. I need to just spend time with Tracy, spend time with my family, I've got some videos I'm going to put out over Christmas that I've already made, and then we'll hit the ground running at the beginning of January with an EPIC 2025. I've got some big plans already, some really cool things in the diary, but just over Christmas, and you guys are all enjoying your time with your family and your friends. The last thing you want to be doing is watching a Petrol Ped video over Christmas. So yeah, it may well be that there's a garage tour video for sure. I've got a Project PP update video. Lots of you have been asking about Project PP. I'm filming that this week, so that will come out before Christmas. And then on Friday at 6 this week, I finally got my hands on a Hyundai Ioniq 5N, and that is Friday's video. And I'm not going to any spoiler alerts, but by God, is it a good car. Anyway, I shall love you and leave you. Tune in. I will do a Christmas message on Christmas Day at 3 o'clock. I'll be going head to head with the King, as I always do every year, to wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas. But apart from that, I shall see you on the next video. But if you enjoyed that, give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol Ped for plenty more content to come. Put in the comments your thoughts on the Renault 5 Turbo 3E and the Aston Martin Valhalla. But I shall see you on the next film, which is this Friday at 6 for the Hyundai Ioniq 5N. Even if you don't like electric cars, you need to tune into it. I promise you'll be impressed. It's an amazing car. I'll see you on that one. You take care. Drive safe.